Well, it's great to be back, and here's what's going to happen. We're going to talk about product. Okay, so then tomorrow you get all the exciting speakers, right? Today we're going to talk about product and science. We're going to start with why Manatech? I mean, there's thousands of other companies, at least 2,000 other companies at any given time, sometimes more than 4,000 companies. Why such a variation? Because they go out of business so fast. That's why. Because 96% of the companies in our industry go out of business in less than 4 years. So there's 2,000, there's 3,000, there's 4,000, and back to 2,000, but there's always a couple thousand. They all claim to be the best. Now, how many champions can there be? One. You can't have two champions, right? You can't have 4,000 companies being number one. You can have only one. How do you prove if you're number one? Good marketing? Nah, that's just talk. Total sales? No, sometimes that's luck. How about science? How about evidence? How about validation? How about proof? Well, that's a lot of what we'll talk about. And by the way, then this evening, you're going to hear from Kevin Robbins, who's part of our board of directors, of course, and he is the absolute comp plan expert. Nobody better than Kevin to talk to you about comp plan. So that'll be this evening. And tomorrow, we're going to launch Impact Plus in Australasia. So I'll do that for you tomorrow afternoon. Okay. So for now, let's get on with some important stuff. So we've got this in 3 blocks today to learn from. And we're going to start with what you're seeing on the screen right now. What's the scientific evidence that you actually need dietary supplements? Is there evidence? Well, of course there is. Now, what you're going to get from the media is no evidence. Why do they say that? Because they've asked doctors who don't know the evidence. So they're just speaking from ignorance, but they think they got it from an expert. I'll give you the evidence, because the first thing all of you have to do when you come to a new person, whether that new person is going to be a customer contributing to your volume, which is a good thing, or a new potential business builder for you, you're still going to have to answer certain questions they will all ask. You need to be equipped. You need to know how to do it. And the first question is, do you even need this stuff? Then the second question is, if you need this stuff, who has the best in the industry? And if they say they're the best, can they prove it? Well, I'll give you that as well. And then we'll talk again about our new product, Ambrotose LIFE. And I know I spoke about that the last time I was here. And I'll tell you, I am so jet lagged, I can't remember when I was here last time. Honestly, I can't. Because I'm just like, go around the planet, right? My constant low orbit of planet Earth. So we'll talk about Ambrotose LIFE because it is our most important product in our history. Now, for those of you who are business builders, and I hope that's most of you, that may not be your door opener product because sometimes Ambrotose is difficult to explain. It's kind of a new concept for people. Although today, I'm going to give you information that'll make it super easy when you're ready to explain that, okay? Plus the validation. But a good door opener product for you might be Impact Plus because it tastes great. And you're going to find out tomorrow when I give you details that it is the safest, most scientifically balanced so-called energy drink. I'm going to explain the reality of energy to you tomorrow. It's not what you think it is. You're going to get so smart tomorrow from that stuff, okay? But I'll tell you what, you give somebody a little bit of Impact Plus, they not only begin to feel a very safe emphasis, safe energy, but they feel good psychologically at the same time. It's a feel-good product. Feel-good products open the door for you. I know this. I was a business builder once. I still wear my ring with pride. Nobody's taking this ring from me off my dead body. This is mine forever. Okay. All right. So, first question. Do you need supplements at all? Well, the answer obviously is yes. A little bit of the history. 1941, U.S. Department of Agriculture. They take a look at the fact that there's a lot of people in the U.S. who are going to their physicians who have health problems that are related to insufficient level of certain vitamins in their diet. How can this be? Well, at the time, America was called the breadbasket of the world. Food was so plentiful that Americans wasted food, as they still do today. Just wasted food. How could anyone not have enough vitamin from diet alone? Well, it was true. So then the National Academy of Sciences in the US, they established the world's first minimum daily requirement for nutrition, the world's very first. So what's the bare minimum you need for vitamins and minerals to maintain the bare minimum of health? That gets adjusted every, 11 to 15 years. And sometimes the levels get bumped up. Sometimes they don't. But I'll give you information about that as we go on. The point is, way back in 1941, before corporate farming, there were already people that were having nutritional problems. But then corporate farming is introduced in the late 1950s, early 1960s, where now they want to actually produce things like tomatoes, or tomatoes, okay? And they want to raise these green. They want to harvest them green. Why? Well, because if you wait until they're fully ripened, they spoil too fast, getting them to market or having them sit on the shelf. So the solution was simple. You don't do it the old-fashioned way and allow the food to actually ripen on the vine where all the nutrition comes in. Now what you want to do is you harvest it green, then you put it into a gas chamber when you're about halfway to your destination for the shipment. And in the gas chamber, you put something called ethylene gas, which causes an artificial change in the color of the produce. And it makes people think that it's ripe because it's really pretty. But the nutrition did not magically appear. It just changed the color. So then this really pretty produce goes to market, people buy it, and they have less nutrition than they had before. In the book that I wrote called How to Survive on a Toxic Planet, which I wrote in 2004, I documented studies that compared nutritional quality of fruit and vegetables from the 1950s to the 1990s. Example, a peach raised in 1953 and a peach raised in 1997, one the old-fashioned way, one the corporate way. Now the new one in 1997, you would need 58 peaches to match the same nutrition that you had in one peach in 1953. Now, nobody's going to eat 58 peaches. I just don't think anyone's going to do that, okay? And that's just a peach. The idea here is that corporate farming does make things different. It's more efficient, it gets you greater profits, and of course, it allows the food to go further before it spoils. But you have to eat a lot more of it to get the same nutrition. Those of you who would eat, we'll use a tomato again. If you eat an organic tomato that's properly raised, that's vine ripened, and then you eat a corporately farmed one, they both look about the same, but they do not taste the same. One just tastes watery, and the other one tastes delicious. It's a big difference. So that's changed, but that's part of it, only part of it. Well, in 1995, some scientists in the US, from the US Department of Agriculture, they said, health is becoming a big issue as our nation keeps getting bigger and bigger. And some of this is nutrition related, we believe. And they said, let's examine oxidative stress. Now, I'm not going to talk about oxidative stress in this portion, but I will talk about that in part 2. Oxidative stress is kind of like rust. In fact, rust is oxidative stress on metal. Now, you're not made of metal, but if you look at what happens to a cell in your body when it's exposed to an oxidative free radical, it's like little Pac-Man eating it up. Okay, it's not a good thing. It's like rust. So these scientists said, well, we know antioxidants are in various fruits and vegetables. We know things have changed in farming methods. We also know that oxidative stress increases every year. There has not been a year since they've been keeping track where oxidative stress levels have reduced. Not 1 year. Every year it gets worse. Now, really, literally, breathing causes oxidative stress, just breathing. But your body is designed to cope with that. Pollution, air pollution from chemicals, synthetic chemicals in our water, in our air, in our food. These cause oxidative stress. Psychological stress causes oxidative stress, and the list goes on. So things have changed, and these scientists said, we know that there are 68 different health issues that relate to oxidative stress. So if we could solve this dietary problem, we could potentially assist people in 68 different areas. That's pretty powerful. That's why they decided to test oxidative stress and not some other category. Now, before I explain this further, I want to create some images for you to make this super, super easy, because some people you talk to are not going to understand it unless you do. First, think of your body as an organic machine. Everyone knows what a machine is. Your body is an organic machine. Everyone knows that machines require fuel. Everyone knows that the harder a machine works, the more fuel it requires to perform the same task. Everyone knows that. Everyone knows that machines need to be maintained. And everyone knows that machine parts wear out under stress. So, our organic machine. Second idea I want you to have. We're going to start with a car, but we're going to go to our ancestors. Stay with me, it'll make sense. Everyone knows that you would get better fuel economy driving your car 5 kilometers on a level road than you would driving your car 5 kilometers uphill. Everyone knows that. Why would that be? Well, because of stress on the machine. Everyone knows that the stress on the machine going uphill is going to wear the parts out faster than the machine driving on a level plane. All right, everyone's with me. Now, let's go back to this organic machine that we live in. The human race has been around for a long time. Different scientists argue about how long. I'm not going to go there. But for thousands of years, our ancestors had very little stress. In fact, for thousands of years, our ancestors didn't even have to have fashion stress. Like, what do I wear today? That was not even a consideration. Okay? In fact, for most of the history of the human race, human beings have had almost no stress except, can I gather enough food today? And can I keep my family from being eaten by a saber-toothed tiger? That was it. Our stress is way more complicated than theirs. They lived on a pristine planet, perfect air, perfect water, perfect food. We don't. We live on a toxic planet. So let's go back to our analogy of driving that car, the level plane. Our ancestors were going on a level plane for thousands of years. Then the 20th century happens. The industrial age. And guess what? Suddenly, we as humans are starting to go uphill. And then the 21st century happens, and now that hill's getting steeper. And folks, it's going to get steeper every year. It's not going to get better. People who cannot get a grip on this, who do not realize that they need dietary supplements. It's not a luxury, it's a necessity. And if they don't get a grip on this, guess what? They're going to be a lot less healthy than you are. And their longevity is almost certainly going to be shorter than yours. This is part of our mission at Manatech, to have the best scientific technology that is validated science in human beings, not rats, not petri dishes, and not implications that it works, but real honest-to-goodness scientific validation. There is one company that offers the best products, one company that validates the best products, one choice for any honest person in this industry. Only one, and you're already there. Now, you notice on this slide, you had plenty of time to look at it. Every time they redid this human blood study, which cost the US government about $1 million every time they did it, pretty expensive stuff, they said, oops, oxidative stress is worse this year. We're going to have to go to 7 servings of fresh fruits and vegetables. And now, this time, 9 servings. Now we do it again. Oh, now we're up to 12 servings. And then in 2012, which was the last time they did the test, they said 14 servings. Folks, nobody's going to eat 14 servings of fresh fruits and vegetables a day. Nobody's going to do it. Not even a vegan. Now, if you're a cow, it would be different. But you're not. You have to be real. You need antioxidant. Now, I'm going to give you details in part 2, but I want to give you this because learning psychologists tell us that repetition is the best way to reinforce memory. So some things you want to say more than once. There is one only antioxidant tested in human beings, not rats. Some people are rats, but most aren't. One study, I should say 3 studies, but 1 product in human beings that shows the best antioxidant on planet Earth. It belongs to Manatech. It's called Ambrotose AO. The other companies can make any claim they want. And you know what I say? Prove it. Show me the science or shut up. In fact, I did an anti-aging conference, and there were a whole bunch of other companies presenting. I was the last presenter. And I'm telling you what, there were a whole bunch of other companies really ticked off at me. Because I presented real honest-to-goodness science about our product called AO, and all the doctors who had bought their stuff were returning. They were all in return queues, returning stuff they had bought. Interesting, huh? Okay, now I'm only going to give you one more study, because time, but you don't need a lot more. I've already given you one that's enough. Let me give you another. 2 medical doctors in the US, Fletcher and Fairfield, this is back in 2002. Medical doctors are taught you don't need supplements. Flat out, you just don't need supplements. All you need to do is eat right. That's what they're taught. So don't be mad at your doctor if he or she does not know this. Don't be mad. It's what they're taught. And no human being can read all the studies. There are millions and millions of studies. How do I know this stuff? It's my job to keep researching this and finding this, okay? So I know this. So 2002, Fletcher and Fairfield, they asked the research question, does the modern diet provide sufficient vitamin? So, of course, they thought the answer was yes, because that's what they were trained with. It's kind of routine, right? It's a blood study. They're drawing human blood. They're looking only for vitamin, nothing else. And they were surprised to find that virtually nobody had enough vitamin in their blood from diet alone. Every government on the planet says, diet's fine, food's great, eat right, you'll be fine. But then when you get sick, go see your doctor. I'd like to do that a little bit different. Eat as well as you can. Make intelligent choices. And take your supplements. because diet is not enough anymore. Because we're going up this big steep grade that's getting steeper every year. So they do this study, their words. Those are not my words, those are theirs. You don't see words like that in science studies very often. It appears prudent for all adults to take vitamins. Medical doctors saying this? Yep. It appears prudent for all adults to take vitamins, and they only tested vitamins. So now I've given you antioxidants and vitamins. Let me give you another one. I'm not going to show you the study. I'm just going to give you this to sort of set the pathway for us. Another study done in the year 2000 for something called Glycans. What the heck is a glycan? Well, commercially they're called Glyco Nutrients. And the study said the modern diet provides 2 of the necessary 8 in very abundant quantities. But the other 6, well, they're pretty variable. Depends on the individual, where they live, how they eat, depends on a lot of things. But you need 8. Now, I'm going to explain the 8 in a few moments, but I want to just put this in your memory right now. The modern diet, according to scientific study, provides 2 in adequate quantities, and 6 really varies. And you're going to see in a minute, you don't want that to vary. You want to make sure you're doing the right thing every day. No variation. You want stability. Well, let me give you a little more piece of evidence, because I love this. U.S. government keeps all kinds of statistics. They've got the money to do it. And in the U.S., it's easy to get statistics. Any U.S. citizen, all they have to do is fill out a form, give it to the government has to give you the numbers you want. It's pretty cool, really. It's pretty easy. 71% of Americans take dietary supplements. That's a lot. Well, if the modern diet is adequate, which I've already showed you it isn't, but if it was, you shouldn't see almost anybody with deficiencies at all, right? And then if on top of that, you add 71% of all Americans are taking dietary supplements, well, then you really shouldn't see, tiny fractions of people with a deficiency, right? U.S. government statistic coming up before your eyes. 90% of Americans are deficient in at least 2 nutrients. More than 70% are deficient in a long list of nutrients. Maybe the modern diet isn't providing what we need, obviously not. But what else does this tell us? If 71% of Americans are taking supplements, but 90% are deficient, what does that say about those supplements? Maybe they're not very good. Maybe they don't work very well. Maybe we should look at a company that actually uses science to validate their products. What a concept. All right, so Mannatech. Why Mannatech? Because of scientific validation. 84,000 products are being sold in the U.S. right now. 84,000 nutritional products. And on all of their websites, guess what they say? They're all the best. Now, they can't all be the best. But let me tell you how some of these website tricks work. Now, I can tell you, because I am also a doctor of psychology, so I'm going to switch hats for a moment. Learning psychologists tell us that people see what they want to see. People hear what they want to hear. And of course, they believe what they wish to believe. Marketing people know this. So they'll do things like show a picture of their product, and then next to it it'll say, our product contains vitamin C. And vitamin C has thousands of scientific studies. True. Our product contains vitamin A, and vitamin A has thousands of scientific studies. True. And then they go on down the list. Now, the consumer gets mesmerized by this and walks away from the website thinking what they saw was that product had thousands of studies. But that's not what it said. They were talking about ingredients in their products. They weren't even talking about the specific ingredient that was purchased to put in that product. Simply, generally, vitamin C this and generally, vitamin A that. But what if you had a company that had a state-of-the-art analytical chemistry lab? What if you had a company that was willing to spend tens of millions of dollars on scientific research and validation? Would that be the company that you'd want to go to for something you're going to put in your organic machine? Well, I think the sensible answer would be yes. Well, that company is Manitech, and we've spent more than $50 million US. Folks, if you were to look at the top 10 in our industry, the companies that sell the most, companies that sell billions. $1 billion is like, can you even get your head around the idea of $1 billion? That's 1,000 times $1 million. Whoa. And companies that make 3 and 4 and 5 and more billions of dollars per year. And they spend tens of millions of dollars on marketing every year, and they do it well. And they spend nothing on science. Zero. But the consumer that goes to their websites thinks that they've read something that made sure they knew that their product was somehow scientifically validated, even though it wasn't. What's great about Manitech? Well, you go to manitechscience.org, not our marketing site, our science site. Why do we have an entire science site? Because we have so much science, it deserves its own site. You go to the other companies, you'll be on their marketing site and find a science page. Big difference. And it's interesting, when I was, where the heck was I? I'm still jet lagged here. Oh, I was in Amsterdam. So I'm in Amsterdam, there's a bunch of doctors in the room. There's always lots of doctors that come in Amsterdam. And one of them said to me, well, where do you put your studies? Where are they? How do I find them? Well, you just go to manitechscience.org. And you click on publications. And then you click from there. It's real easy. Well, but I'm a doctor. How do I get well, there's this tab on the page that says healthcare practitioners. Click on it. It's pretty easy. You mean you actually have studies that you actually post and show to people? Yeah, why wouldn't we? We're proud of our science. Super proud of our science. It's Manitech science and Manitech technology that made me leave a hugely successful integrative medicine practice in North America. Because the purpose for any doctor, have any of you ever read Mark Twain? You know who I mean when I say Mark Twain, okay? All right, so Mark Twain, very famous American author, very interesting fellow. I love, one of his quotes he said was, 2 important days of your life, the day you're born, and the day you find out why you were born. Most people go through their entire lives and never get that second day. I found my second day. It's to help people with their health as much as I can, wherever I can, whenever I can. And you look at our industry, and I have looked at our industry. I've tested more than 6,000 dietary supplements with human test subjects. I have formulated now more than 150 different dietary supplement products. I know something about formulations. Folks, there just is no better technology than Manitech. There just isn't. And anytime somebody says to me, oh, we're just like Manitech, my response is simple. Show me the evidence. If you have proof that you're better, I'm a scientist, I'll accept it. Guess who never takes me up on the challenge? Anybody. We are the unquestioned masters of science in this industry. There's just no argument about it. There's this organization called DSA, Direct Sellers Association. And all the different companies get together at these meetings, and all the CEOs and the chief officers and so on, and they're all pretty friendly with each other. But all of them will say under their breath, oh, there's Manitech. They're such a pain. They're so scientific. Right? Well, we are. They will say, our competitors will say, we, Manitech, we are the science company. Now, I know I keep saying this, but I can't say it enough, how important this is. Because if you're going to build a business in this industry, if you're going to put your hard work into building a business, and it is hard work, I've done it, then you want to do it with the best possible products. You want to do it with the most effective products, the safest products. You also want to do it with products that cannot be duplicated to protect your business. I'll explain that to you in a few minutes. So, we have earned more than 130 patents in our time on this planet. That's extraordinary. Really extraordinary. And these aren't packaging patents, okay? These are patents on how the composition of our matter is unique or how it functions. That's extraordinary. Now, patents expire in 20 years. And we have a lot of people who will panic when a patent expires. And they'll say, oh my God, the patent's going to expire. My business is going to fall apart. No, it's not. Give us some credit, folks. We at Manitech are thinking about you all the time, even though when you don't know it. We want to protect your business, and we do. We use things like exclusive ingredient agreements, exclusive technologies that we will not let anyone else know about. That protects the products because then what we put in the product cannot be duplicated, patent or no patent. You know, Coca-Cola has never had a patent, and they've never been duplicated. Now, we keep getting patents because we can. And we've got 17 more patents right now in the works. So we're always doing something new for you, scientifically and patent-wise. But understand that your products are protected in other ways as well. When I was building a business, and I had leadership principles that I taught to, and that's not why I'm here today, so I'm just going to give you a little snippet, okay? I told my downline, I said, there are 3 important rules of business. Number 1, have a product everyone needs. We do. We have the best nutrition. Number 2, have a product that is consumable, because if you sell it only once, that's not much of a business. But my 3rd rule was the most important rule. Have a product that's exclusive to you. Because if you're selling the same thing that 10 other companies can sell, then you're going to have a pretty tough time doing a good business. We provide you with all 3, and our products will always be exclusive to Manitech Associates. We've been in business for a quarter of a century. Now remember, most competitors are out of business, 96% are out of business in less than 4 years. And by the way, the same actors who went out of business last month, they changed the name of their business, they open up a new one next month. Same guys. You go to DSA meetings, you see the same guys for 20 years. Now, you might meet somebody that's been in business 5, 6, 7 times and failed, and they're back with another one. That's the way it works. Not Manitech. We're here for the long haul. You're here for the long haul. You want to not just build a business, you want to build a legacy. You can do that with Manitech. So we're in 26 countries right now. We'll be in more, but it takes time. It's a lot of work to get to that next country. 2 things I want you to think about with Manitech products always. You're going to have, every time we change chief marketing officers, we're going to have new marketing things that we do. And that's part of having a new guy on board. And this is not a good thing or a bad thing, it's simply a thing. In science, you just have things. You don't have good things or bad things. You just have things, okay? So what I want you to think about is not any other marketing slogan you've ever heard before, but these 2 words. Because these 2 words, no matter who's in charge at Manitech, these 2 words will always be valid. Safety and efficacy. Safety, because Manitech is an extraordinary company in that We actually have our own facility to do safety testing, a physical, it's called a quality assurance lab, but basically it's a safety lab. In the world, only pharmaceutical companies need safety labs. Nutrition companies don't. Why do we have one? Well, I'll tell you the story in a moment. It's actually kind of cute, I think. And we have this state-of-the-art analytical chemistry lab where there's literally nothing that we can't do research-wise. Why does Manitech keep making technologies that no one ever thought of before? Because we can. Because we have the facility. And we want to use it. Now I'll tell you the cute story. Way back in the beginning of Manitech, it was a typical entrepreneurial nutrition company, pretty much the same as everybody else. The idea was, we're going to be network marketing, a commission structure and all that stuff. Going to sell some products that make you feel good and boom, boom, boom. Well, then there was this pharmacologist, a doctor who was trained in the science of making pharmaceutical drugs. That's what he knew how to do. That's what he did. Now, he didn't know anything about nutrition, really. Nutrition came later for him. So he works at a pharmaceutical company, and he discovers the functional component in the aloe vera plant. Not because he was interested in nutrition, because he was ordered by his boss to figure out what makes aloe work so they could synthesize it and turn it into a synthetic drug. That was the idea. Well, he discovers it, and he quits. And then Manitech wants to hire him. Now understand, he's never worked for a nutrition company. He's only ever worked for a drug company. Drug companies require state-of-the-art analytical chemistry labs. Drug companies require safety labs. Well, he didn't know that nutrition companies don't. So when the entrepreneurs wanted to hire him, they said, we want to hire you. We want you to be our new science officer. Now, they didn't actually want to do any science because nobody does that in our industry, right? You just hire a guy so you can have his picture on the website and say, he's our science guy. That's what the other companies do. Well, then he gave us his list of demands. I won't come to work for you unless you buy me this list of toys. And of course, the entrepreneurs in charge of Manitech looked at that and said, no, our industry, we don't need that stuff. That's like millions of dollars. I won't come to work for you unless you buy me my toys. So they bought him a state-of-the-art analytical chemistry lab, and they bought him a physical safety lab. And then they thought, why did we buy all this stuff? Nobody needs it. Well, then, of course, after we had all that, then this first chief of science at Manitech said, and now I need a whole bunch of PhDs to operate all these toys you bought me. You mean do research? Like science? Nobody does that in our industry. Well, Manitech does. And Manitech does because we can. And we make technologies that no one else can even begin to do because we have the technology to get it done. Now, every time we have changes, and there are changes, this happens, you have different ideas from different people. These are ideas that I like a lot. And this is our new direction in product for the future. Now, yes, we do have some older products that don't meet all of these. They're still valid products, they're still effective products, they're still safe products. I sat down with our marketing team and I said, when I built a downline, the last thing I wanted to do was to have resistance from the new person I'm talking to. I want to have as few objections as possible. Is that right? With your new contact, you don't want pointless objections. So you've got the anti-dairy people, and they'll tell you, dairy will kill you, eat soy. And then you have the anti-soy people who will say, we know that soy will kill you, eat dairy. Okay. Now, it happens scientifically that both of those camps are wrong, and I'm not going to fight with anybody about it. I'm a scientist. There are things you can validate and things you can't validate, okay? But I don't care what your point of view is on that. I don't want you to have an objection. So maybe you are pro-soy, but you meet somebody who's anti-soy. Well, then it's a lot easier for you to build if the product doesn't contain soy, right? So it doesn't matter to me what the belief system is. I don't care. What I want you to have is the safest and most effective products and the easiest job in building your business. So that's what this is all about, okay? We are the only company in the entire industry that can say that we pioneered a field of science. No other company can say that because we've got the science. We have the technology. We can get that done. Now, you're going to have people who will say to you, I've never heard of Glyco Nutrients. I don't know what that is. Or you'll have a doctor who will say, there are no studies on Glyco Nutrients. I've never even heard of them. Well, let's talk about that. First of all, if you're talking to a scientist, use the word glycan. Because a scientist doesn't know what a glyconutrient is. That's a commercial term. It's not a science term. Glycan is a science term. So that's why on my slides you typically see glycan and glyconutrient together, okay? Now, by the way, there's a website called WebMD. It's the most trusted website in American health. Anybody can access it, obviously, anywhere on the planet. Now, if you type in glyconutrients, one of the things that comes up is WebMD, and the stuff you read about us, well, not about Manitech, but about glyconutrients, it becomes pretty obvious they're talking about Ambrotose. And it's really cool. You should go there. You should look. We've earned it. So, when somebody says, there are no studies, then I say, well, before 1857, that was true. But not anymore. And in fact, there are now almost 23,000 scientific studies on glycans and glycoproteins. But my doctor said, well, your doctor can't read every study on the planet. There's too many of them. How do I know this? It's my job to know these things. I recently did a symposium in Shanghai, China, and they invited university students and university professors and so on, and all of them were told, and I had so much fun with this, because they were told in China that there are no studies on glycans. And then I went on for an hour and a half, study after study after study, history, and there I was allowed to talk about disease. It was pretty cool. And I mean, it was the most fun I've had in a glycan presentation maybe in 25 years. Are there studies? Yep, more than you can ever read. Is there evidence? More than you will ever be able to even know. And guess what else? You've heard of the Human Genome Project, right? I know you have. Did you know there's a Human Glycome Project? Most of you didn't. Started in 2011. What's the point of the project? The point of the project is to study glycans in the human body. What do they do? Why are they important? Well, that study is ongoing, so we don't have, obviously, the data from it yet. But already, they've gathered so much exciting information about glycans. Super exciting information. So, folks, those of you who joined 20 years ago, and at that time, it was kind of rough to support our position. Not anymore. Not anymore. In fact, the fastest growing single field of human health today is glycan research, because there are so many applications, which I'll show you in a few moments. So we know by a scientific study that came out in 1996, we know that the human body requires 8 specific glycans or glyconutrients for cellular communication. Now, this is the single most important thing to human health. And a lot of people will say, cellular communication? That doesn't sound very sexy. It's as sexy as it gets, folks. Because there is no function without communication. There's no function. I don't care what you're talking about. People tend to think about their specific issue, and they'll say, well, I have this immune problem, so I'm going to take Ambrotose. I have this brain problem, so I'm going to take Ambrotose. I want you to think cellular communication. Think every function of the body. When people come up to me after I do an all-day product training, they'll come up and they'll say, I have conchus of the bronchus. I made that up. It's not a disease, okay? I have conchus of the bronchus. Should I take Ambrotose? Yes. But I have non-conchus of the bronchus. Should I take Ambrotose? Yes. And then everyone will come and say, but I have this. Should I take Ambrotose? Yes, 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 yes. Here's the answer. If you're breathing, take Ambrotose. That's how easy this is. Now, I have known associates that I met, because it's going to be 24 years for me in March with Manitech. And I have associates that I met 24 years ago who spent their first, second, third, fourth, fifth, and on years with Manitech without sponsoring one person. And they would say, I believe in the product. I come to all of your trainings. Why don't you sponsor anybody? Well, I think I need to become a doctor to explain it. No, you don't. Folks, the key to successful communication is to communicate on the level of the person you're communicating to. If you're talking to a biochemist, talk biochemistry. If you're not, talk regular, old, plain language. So, let's use some terms that everyone can understand. That is a depiction of the surface of a human cell. Everyone knows what one of these things are. Now, they're called by different names in different countries. Let's get over that for a minute, okay? The guy that invented this, the American scientist that invented this, called it a cell phone. Cell phone. Human cell. Okay? Everyone knows what this is. Everyone knows basically how it works. What do you need to make it go? Electricity. You need a battery charge. What do you need to make this go? Vitamins and minerals. That's the battery charge. Okay, simple so far. Now the purpose of this thing is to send a communication to another cell phone. The purpose here is to send another communication to another cell. Now that communication could be something about cleansing your body. It could be about hormonal balance. It could be about immune function of various types. It could be about anything, which is why if you're breathing, you should be taking Ambrotose. Now, what's the second part of how this works? This has to send a signal to a cell phone tower. Now, if I want to talk to Al Bala at the back of the room, even though he's right there, the signal's going to have to go from my cell phone to a cell phone tower. It has to translate and then be sent to Al Bala's cell phone. That's the way it works. That cell phone tower has to be built in a particular way. It has to have a particular structure. On top of your cells are these little squiggly things. They're actually called cell surface receptor sites. Most people will forget that in about 10 minutes. So let's call them cell phone towers, because that's what they are. Every one of these little beads, these little bumps on the cell phone tower, that's a glycoprotein. That is a glycan, which is bound to a protein amino acid. What do you need to have the cell phone towers on your cells properly structured? You need 8 specific glycans bound to a protein. 8. Now remember, a few moments ago, I mentioned that scientific study shows the modern diet provides 2 in abundant quantities. The other 6, well, kind of hit and miss. But you have to have 8 or you don't have a clear signal. example. All of you have spoken into your phone probably to send an SMS somewhere, right? Sometimes when you speak into it, it doesn't type what you said. Have you had that? Yeah, I can see all of you have had that. All right, listen carefully. This is so simple. You don't need a PhD for this. This is so simple. Each of these little bumps, each of these little glycans knows a certain number of letters of the alphabet. But no glycan knows all of the letters of the alphabet. So when you have all 8, you can now form complete sentences. But if you're missing one, you can't. Let's do an example. Let's say that Judy has been, raise your hand, Judy, so everybody see. Okay. So Judy Abbott, she's been invaded by a bacteria. Now we're going to keep this really, really simple. I'm not going to use medical terms because most of you will forget the terms. So let's use simple terms, okay? We're going to say that in all of our organic machines, we have these little cells on patrol. They're patrolling our bloodstream, and they are looking for bad guys. Now, we're going to hope that all of the cells, all these scout cells in Judy's body, have all their glycans properly posted where they're supposed to be on her little cell phone towers. Now, she takes Ambrotose every day, so I'm confident that she's got it. Now, the little scout cells, they see the bacteria, and they send a signal to the commanding general of the immune system. And the signal says, General, Judy's been invaded. It's a bacteria. They're blue in color, and they're located near the liver. Send the soldier cells to kill them immediately. Now, let's say that Judy didn't take her Ambrotose for whatever reason. And let's say that some of her cell phone towers didn't have all the little beads or the little glycans in place. Now the communication might go like this. General, Judy's been invaded by a virus. It's pink in color, and it's located at the pancreas. Go kill him. Now, obviously, with the wrong set of commands, the soldier cells will not be able to do their job. People think Ambrotose is some kind of medication, that it's an antibiotic or something. Ambrotose facilitates communication so that your bodies can do what they were designed to do. So if Judy's little cell phone towers have all of their glycans, the soldiers will get the right communication. They'll go after the bad guy cells and they'll destroy them. But if they get the wrong communication, what might happen to Judy is those soldier cells might attack healthy cells, which is a whole different kind of immune challenge. Cellular communication, folks, super simple to explain, foundational to every aspect of your health, and why every human being who is breathing, and if you stopped breathing very recently, still give it a shot, okay? Okay, I'm kidding about that. Well, maybe not. So this is why it's foundational to us. What do we know from scientific study? Not implication, not marketing material, actual science. Cellular communication. How many products are shown scientifically to facilitate cellular communication? Let me see. One. It's called Ambrotose. It's owned by Manitech. You are here representing that product. You already are in the best company for human health for the entire planet. I don't care what the issue is. Well, what about brain function? There are companies selling so-called brain formulas that don't have one study on their product. And they'll say things like, our product contains blah, blah, blah. That comes from this and it comes from that. And that's nice. Do you have a study that shows your product works? Well, no, we don't have to do that. Manitech has 7 brain studies. 7. Every time an associate says to me, you know, we need a brain product. Then I'll say, Ambrotose is our brain product. 7 brain studies. Cognitive function, general thought process, attentiveness, mood. That mood is down and you want it to come up? Well, Ambrotose can help with that. Memory. Now, business builders, tune in for me. I know I've been giving you a lot of information. 80%, 80% of all of the income on planet Earth is in the possession of human beings born between the years 1946 and 1964. 80% of all of the income on planet Earth. All of these people are 55 years of age or older. In many countries, they're called the baby boomers. Not in every country. Now, what do we know scientifically? Why do we know that Ambrotose by itself, just for this one thing I'm going to mention, is a product that could make all of you quintuple platinum ambassadors and have billions of people left over? Scientific fact, age of 50, you begin a natural, normal, not disease-related, natural, normal, age-related decline in memory. It starts with simple things like, where did I put my car keys? That's where it starts. It gets worse if you don't do things about it. What do we know about our product? The gold standard of scientific study is called human double-blind placebo control. We have human double-blind placebo control on memory. Listen to this. Individuals all over the age of 50, they are administered by a neuropsychologist a memory test early in the morning. They are then given 4 grams of Ambrotose. Later in the day, they are given another type of memory test. 100% of all the test subjects had a measured improvement in memory in 1 4-gram application of Ambrotose. We don't need another brain formula. We have a brain formula. It's called Ambrotose. Many of you didn't know that. Now you know it. And 80% of all the income on this planet belongs to people who need Ambrotose for memory. If you're a business builder, that means you have inexhaustible sources of people to build your downline with. I hate it when I'm going around and somebody will say to me, well, I've run out of people in my country, but if you open up the next country, I can sign some people up. No, you haven't run out of people in your own country. Hasn't happened. All right. All of this started, my friends, with Manipul. You're going to love this film.
What does it take to handcraft the highest grade aloe product in the world? It takes a pristine environment like Costa Rica with pure water and mineral-rich volcanic soil, the perfect climate for the aloe vera plant to thrive. It takes 25 years of expertise from farmers whose life's work is aloe, naturally crossbreeding them over decades to have greater health potential than any other in the world. It takes diligence by selective harvesters, specially trained to reap the richest aloe leaves by hand to seal in their powerful Glyco Nutrients. It takes steady hands from slicing away the gel to isolating ace mannan, crumbling, freeze-drying, milling and packaging. Everything is by hand. It takes cleanliness, 3 isolated production areas, each a contaminant-free environment, all to protect you and your family. It takes the essence of time. Less than 6 hours from plant to powder, 63 aloe leaves condensed into a single container, stable and potent for years. It takes a company willing, daring, passionate about providing the best. An aloe that can't be found anywhere else. A process that can't be replicated. This is the highest grade aloe product in the world, Manipole. Handcrafted exclusively for Manitech.
If you weren't aware of that video, now you are, and use it. Use it in your presentations. Even if you're just presenting to one person, use this video. It's free. And it explains in a short and beautiful presentation what I'm going to explain to you in the next few minutes over a bit longer of a presentation. So, we have the best mannose from aloe in the world. Our trade name for it is Manipole. Manipole is what first alerted me to Manitech. And it's the first thing that I used with patients that at the time I felt had little or no hope. I found this product to be extraordinary, and it led me to do further studies with Manitech, and well, here I am, these 24 years later. But it started with this, and our mannose from aloe is unlike any other mannose from aloe in the world. First, now I don't want you to do it right now, but if you were to Google pectin, you would find extraordinary information about that. And I'm not even going to go through details. I'm just saying that later on, you'll Google it, okay? And you will read all kinds of amazing, astounding, and wonderful things about pectin. And what you will see consistently, and this is important, is that in all of the scientific studies it says, the heavier the atomic weight of that pectin, the more effective it is. What's one of the things that it does? I won't do all of them, but one of the things is it helps to detoxify chemicals from your body. Now in part 2, I'm going to talk to you about chemicals in the environment, so I'm not going to do that right now. But you want to be able to safely remove chemicals from your body. The heavier the pectin molecules are in atomic weight, the more effective they are. Folks, the heaviest atomic weight pectin in the world is in Manitech's Manipole. There is none heavier. That means there is none better. If we simply sold our aloe pectin as a separate product, and if we had never invented Ambrotose, if we had never invented Manipole, just sold the aloe pectin, we would be doing a phenomenal business around the world right now as people are more aware of toxins in our environment. That's a big one that most of you probably didn't know about. We are sourced in Costa Rica. Why? Well, aloe needs a certain temperature, certain humidity, certain amount of sunshine. And the more mineral in the soil, the better the mannose yield, the more potent the mannose is. So we grow in volcanic soil in Costa Rica. Now there's another reason for growing in Costa Rica, and all the ones I gave you are already very good reasons. Aloe plants absorb pollution. So if you put one in your house, it'll help to keep your air cleaner in your house. That's nice. But if you were to grow an aloe plant where there's a lot of air pollution, that aloe plant will suck up the local air pollution. Almost all of the aloe sold by all of our competitors on the entire planet are grown in China. I guess I don't have to say too much more for that reaction. You can see air pollution, and in some parts of China, you can see you've got like maybe 2 meters in front of you. You can't see any further than that. It's not fog, it's smog. You don't want to grow aloe there. That's just not smart. Now it's cheap, and you won't see the pollution in the plant when you're producing it, You don't want it. Our facility has a 0 carbon footprint. We're using solar power and wind power. We are not producing pollution. Well, 2 reasons. We don't want to produce pollution, obviously, and make matters worse. Personally, for me, you're part of the solution or you're part of the problem. That's the way I see it. We don't want to be part of the problem. But the other thing is, we don't want the aloe we're growing to be sucking up pollution from our production facility. So that's pretty cool. There's more. You look at all of the aloe in the world, any mannose that you take from any aloe anywhere is going to have an atomic weight of approximately 380,000 to 400,000 Daltons. That's named after the Englishman who introduced the theory. Mannatech's Mannapole, because of our exclusive technology, exclusive means no one else can have it, we are 1.6 million Daltons. That is literally 4 times more powerful than any competing mannose from aloe. Science, my friends, science is what makes for the best products. I've already talked about Costa Rica, I've already done that. Now, we get the question, you will get the question, but why is Ambrotose so expensive? Well, because there are many ingredients in Ambrotose. A lot of our associates think there are 8, there are actually 10. But one of those ingredients, Mannapole, it's a teeny tiny amount of all the gel in the aloe leaf. You're looking at aloe leaves that have been cross-sectioned. It takes 660 kilograms of aloe leaf to make 1 kilo of Mannapole. And a kilo of Mannapole is about what I'm doing in the size of my hand right now. Imagine this mountain of aloe leaf to make 1 kilo of Mannapole. Is it expensive? Yeah, it is. Is it worth it? Yeah, it is. Because it's the best you can put inside of your organic machine. So the history of Ambrotose starts with Ambrotose Complex. First we have Mannapole, then we make Ambrotose Complex. A few years later, a technology comes along that allows us to take glucosamine from plants. Now, previously, we could only take glucosamine from shellfish. Do you say prawn here? Would that be the... Okay, so you know what I mean. Different countries use different words, and sometimes I forget which one calls it what, okay? But originally from shellfish. Now, it was promised by our company founder that we would never change Ambrotose Complex. Well, if we promised we can never change it, and now we have a new technology, we're going to have to make a new Ambrotose. So then we make advanced Ambrotose with glucosamine from plant source so that it can become fully vegetarian or vegan friendly. Then our most important product in the history of Mannatech, Ambrotose LIFE, in 2018. Ambrotose LIFE is, without question, the most important product we have yet created, and we're not going to rest on our laurels. We are working on more products, okay? But it is, at this moment, certainly our most important. Now, I've talked about how important Mannapole is, so it's important to know that there is double the amount of Mannapole, in fact, more than double the amount of Mannapole in Ambrotose LIFE that you will find in advanced Ambrotose. So instantly, when switching from advanced, you are already more than 2 times better off than you were with advanced. It also combines the best aspects of complex and advanced in a single formula. And it cannot be duplicated. Remember, your product must be exclusive to you, or you do not have a solid business opportunity. We make sure that this cannot be duplicated. How? More than 50% of the powder in that container is made of 2 ingredients that are exclusive to Mannatech. 1, Mannapole. 2, AmbroGuard. Now, AmbroGuard is the premium form of something called arabinogalactan. it's a lot easier to remember Ambrogard, isn't it? A lot easier to spell, too. Arabinogalactan is a combination of glycans which are taken from the bark of something called the western larch tree. The western larch tree grows in North America, and that particular product is processed by one company on planet Earth only, just one. That one company makes two forms of arabinogalactan. They make a standard form anybody can buy, and they make a premium form that has been tested in human double-blind placebo-controlled study. That form, the premium form, is trade named by Manatech as Ambrogard. How can we trade name it? Because we own the exclusive rights to that product. Nobody can buy Ambrogard except Manatech. So those two products, and by the way, Ambrogard is so powerful all by itself, it could be a product all on its own. In fact, our marketing department actually seriously considered making it as a separate product, and I begged them not to. I mean, I literally begged them. Please leave it in Ambrotose. Don't separate it. It's that important to this product. So it's staying there, and they got it. So we're not going to have a separate Ambrogard. So now this product is completely plant-sourced. That means it's vegan and vegetarian friendly, and it's even kosher certified. Now, for those of you who don't know what that means, it's another level of purity, okay? It's a higher standard of purity. So, we have taken from advanced Ambrotose something called wakame, as the Japanese call it. I just say wakame because I'm American. But the Japanese pointed out to me that, no, it's wakame. All right. Well, they do consume a lot of this stuff. It's a seaweed. The botanical name is Undaria. And Undaria by itself is powerful. It has powerful properties to support your immune system. Wakame can be refined a maximum of 3 times. Most of our competitors don't refine it at all because they don't have to. All they have to do is put it in a capsule and say, this is wakame, and people buy it. It's still good for you. Some of our competitors pay to refine it once so that they can, in their marketing materials, say, oh, we refine ours to make it better and more concentrated. Okay, true. One company on planet Earth, only one, pays to have it done the maximum of 3 times. Only one, Manatech. And every time you do it, that means that you concentrate the fucoidins, those are the actives, so you have more fucoidins per gram weight and less other stuff that doesn't do anything for your immune system. Is it more expensive? Yes, it is. Is it worth it? Absolutely. And I'd like you to watch a little film that you've probably never seen.
Today, our understanding of seaweed is verifying their uses in alternative medicine. The Tasmanian biotechnology company called Marinova is a new world leader in manufacturing seaweed extracts and translating seaweed-based compounds into new health products and medical applications. We're catching up with one of Marinova's research collaborators to tell us what makes seaweed so special.
So Marinova are a unique company in Australia. They had a bit of vision and they started a company based on knowing that there are exciting molecules in seaweeds. And the specific health properties in seaweed that the Asians are excited about and after are the gels. And the gels in the brown seaweed are called fucoidin. These gels communicate between cells and they defend the seaweed from bacteria, viruses and different things in the ocean attacking the seaweed all the time. And that means also when we use them in our body, they start to protect us in a similar way.
Pia explains that clinical trials have demonstrated the therapeutic potential of fucoidins. It can improve our immune system, reduce joint pain, confer antiviral activity, and even has exciting applications for mental health and regenerative medicine. With all of these benefits in mind, Marinova has partnered with other companies to develop commercial products and get the health benefits of Phycoidins out to the world. Marinova's products range from nutraceuticals, pharmaceuticals, and skincare products. All these health benefits of Phycoidins sound amazing. Are there ways we can get these health benefits from just including types of seaweeds more in our diet?
Absolutely, we should be eating seaweed more in our diet.
Just like this stretchy nori seaweed that we use in sushi, other types of green, brown, and red seaweed species are a great source of nutrients like vitamins, proteins, antioxidants, and omega-3s. Sushi is still probably my favourite way of getting some seaweed, but there's a world of seaweed-based health products we're going to have to keep our eyes open for.
All right. So you probably hadn't seen that film before. And that just talks about yet another ingredient. I know I'm giving you an awful lot of information, but I want you to think about this for a moment. I am giving you the most powerful stuff you've ever heard, one ingredient at a time. We're not just talking about some ordinary product that's got one super ingredient in it. We're talking about Ambrotose LIFE that's got so many powerful things, so many things that you cannot get in any other product anywhere, and I'm not done yet. I've got more. Again, more than twice the power of advanced Ambrotose. But guess what we've done? Ambrotose Complex and Advanced Ambrotose are made in a base of rice starch. But Ambrotose LIFE is made in a base of rice bran. Now, the rice bran's where all the nutrition is. And if you look at your rice, what we call rice is the white bit or the brown bit, depending on which rice you're eating, but the polished thing inside. This brown area in between the outer husk and the rice, the brown area, that's where all the nutrition's at. Until a new scientific process was developed to use enzymes to stabilize the bran used to be discarded and given to farm animals. And really healthy farm animals then, okay? But now you can have it. Now this means that your Ambrotose LIFE is a little more beige than it is white, because rice bran is brown, okay? And you're going to periodically have some variation in the beige. A little darker beige, a little lighter beige, because the rice bran varies. So there's nothing wrong with your product when you see it, so don't freak out on that. You've got more than 100 different vitamins, minerals, antioxidants, plant sterols, and even some omega-3. It's a small amount, but you still even have that in the stabilized rice bran. And yes, this is the same stabilized rice bran that we use to make Nutriveris. It's exactly the same. But you know what? We decided to put something else in Ambrotose LIFE. In fact, two more pretty exciting things. I was talking with the science team as we were developing this product over the course of about 2.5 years. And I said, you know what? We live on a toxic planet, using the title of my book. And we should have things to help us detoxify. And we should put that in Ambrotose LIFE. And everybody agreed, so we did it. Starting with modified citrus pectin, or MCP. Now, MCPs are sold separately by other companies for the purpose of detoxifying chemicals from the human body. You're exposed to chemicals no matter where you live, and I know that we've got some Kiwis here, and I know that Kiwis are told that there's no pollution in New Zealand, but it's everywhere. It's at the South Pole. It's at the North Pole. It's everywhere in between. Doesn't matter where you live, you're exposed to chemical toxins. So you should have something to help you detoxify chemicals on a daily basis. Now understand, what we've put in here is not in such high levels that it gives you some kind of shocking detoxification, okay? That's not the way it works, because we want you to use Ambrotose LIFE every day of your life. And that means we're going to use a level that will allow you to do it every day of your life without going through shocking detoxification every 2 or 3 days, okay? So the amount is properly adjusted. Modified citrus pectin, if you were to unpeel an orange, a lemon, a lime, some citrus fruit, you look on the inside of the peel and you will see strands of fiber. If you were to open the strands of fiber, what you find inside are long-chain polysaccharides, or glycans. They're called pectins. Now, these glycans are very good for the immune system, and they're high in something called glucuronic acid, which attracts synthetic chemicals. So it helps to cleanse the body. Then there is sodium alginate. Now, depending on which textbook you read, it might be called Elgin, or alginic acid, or alginate. Depends on what you're reading and how you're reading. The point is, Elgin is a polysaccharide, which is found in the cell wall of brown algae. It's a food. What's cool about it? I love science. I just love science. I know you can tell, right? Okay. Magnetism. Let's say that the top of my hand is the positive pole of a magnet, and the bottom is the negative pole of a magnet. And we'll do this on both hands, all right? Now, if I take two positive poles, they repel. But if I take a negative pole to the positive pole, it attracts. Now, this is so cool. Elgin has a net negative electron charge. Cadmium, aluminum, lead, mercury have the opposite charge. So, positive, negative, out the urinary tract. Safe, a very safe, gentle, natural way to pull heavy metals out of the body. Very cool. Very cool stuff. So you've got all these advantages in Ambrotose Life and some daily detoxification as well. Now, I know that's been big talk recently here in Australasia because one of your competitors talks about it all the time, okay? Now, let me tell you, there's a difference between detoxification and evacuation. So one of your competitors makes a product that causes you to purge your bowel, and it's part of their weight loss system. And they'll say, you use this product, I guarantee you in 5 days that your scale weight will be down, I guarantee it. And they're right, it will be, because you will purge solid waste material from your gut while you are replacing it with a liquid shake rather than solid material. And guess what? In 5 days, you will be lighter on the scale. Will you have lost body fat? No. Pretty unlikely. Is it a great seller and making huge money for that company? Yes, it is. But it's a little deceptive, okay? Little deceptive. Anyway, back to this, because I'm not talking weight loss right now. I'd love to, but I'm not doing that right now. So with this in mind, oh my gosh, there's more. Now, all I want to do here at the end is re-emphasize the scientific studies. Ambrotose, in any of the three forms, is the most important product in the world, but Ambrotose Life is clearly superior to the two previous Ambrotoses. I expect that Ambrotose Life is going to become the single Ambrotose product globally. I really hope that that will be the case. So no matter who you are, no matter what your complaint is, because people say every day, I get hundreds and hundreds of emails every day. I have this, what should I take? I have this, what should I take? Ambrotose, 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 and now Ambrotose Life. It's kind of that simple, okay? Now, later on, we've got like a part 2, part 3 today for you, okay? We're gonna do some sort of a break here, but then we're gonna do a part 2, part 3. We're gonna do core 5, we're gonna finish core 5, the other 4 products. I'm going to give you some more information that will help you build your businesses, help you understand the product in those 2 parts, okay? But again, last thing here, brain product, Ambrotose. Immune product, Ambrotose. Digestive product, Ambrotose. If you're breathing, Ambrotose.